Hey, book bestie and cozy cousin, it's me, I'm the Bee, and I'm back at it again. And to inaugurate our first library challenge week, because today is Sunday and tomorrow is June 1st, yay, our summer begins. We are going to a book fair festival in Wilmington, Delaware. It is at Rockwood Park and Museum, and we're going to go. It's like an author book fair, and I'm really excited because I'm hoping there are some small local authors, some indie authors that I can support during this library reading challenge this summer, and I'm so excited. So you guys are gonna come along with us. Come on. We are on our truck up, but you know, I'm a Virginia mountain girl, so shut up. I was looking for a walking path. It's so beautiful, like, and it's the perfect day for it. It's mild, there's a nice breeze. I am out of breath because I ain't been on my walk in the mornings, but we getting back to that.
Young witch who is trying to find the murder of her grandmother, and the young prince that helps her out is also being held captive by the same person. Tara Mainzer. Harper is a diviner, and she runs afoul of the wily thief, Renard the Fox. He drags her into his issues, so she has to decide whether to stay and help him go home and save her family. And then, of course, we have The Hatter's Daughter, based on Alice in Wonderland, the books, not the Disney movie. Is the daughter of the Mad Hatter, along with the Prince of Hearts Rowan. They travel to another world to find a weapon to defeat the Rock. A story that follows Leo and Ash. Ash is the owner or the daughter of the owner of the gallery, and Leo is the new resident artist. And she's supposed to, help him market his art and all of that. Funny thing, Leo is younger than her by about 5-6 years. Besides his age, our father is a philanthropist who, goes around with all the young girls in town, and she feels like, am I trying to be like my father who also likes younger people and all of that? But and he's also feeling like, is it because I'm not rich enough, or is it because I'm an upcoming artist? So there's this, power and class tussle. Then the whole.
Hey, book besties! I just came here to report that the book festival was such a hit. I not only got to meet some new local indie authors, I also got some book mail. Now, for the girlies that have been following along and are excited for my library reading challenge for the summer, I bought them in May. And we started June 1st. By the time you guys see this, it'll be June. But when I went, it was May 31st. Ta-da! We got some cute books. First, let's set the scene, girlies. We went to a park called Rockwood Park in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm not a native. I am a resident of lower Delaware, closer to the beaches. So it's nice anytime I get to come up to Wilmington or like Christiana Mall, anything like that, because it's such a different vibe. I went with my husband, of course. He's always my forever plus one, but I will say the only qualm that I had with the actual venue was the fact that I didn't feel like it was super duper accessible. I feel like if you were a person that couldn't brave like a very steep hill, it probably wasn't, the girl. So like, people that don't walk as well, people that don't walk at all, older people that have health conditions. I kind of felt like that was a barrier of entry that I didn't think was necessarily fair. But in retrospect, when I actually went to check out my books, I spoke to one of the Huxley and Hiro employees, and she was kind of like, or organizers of the event. I don't know if they actually worked at the bookstore itself, but they were kind of like, way more popping than we expected. So, thank you for the wait and everything like that. And then I'll give you guys a little bit of lay of glam. It was indeed popping. When we got there, I believe it started at 1 and ended at like 4 or 6. I don't know. It was some time block like that. In the afternoon, it was a really great day for it. It was warm. I wouldn't say it was hot, but it was warm. Not a cloud in the sky, so you didn't really get the reprieve of shade, but there was a breeze that I can remember, so that was nice. From there, it was set up in a way that like bookish things, like, you know, book merch, tote bags, hats, some sorts of food and candles, you know, things that bookish people like, were towards the front. So when you first entered, it was, you know, kind of those types of vendors. As you move deeper in, you find more indie authors, self-published authors that I found. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but just from the layout of what I was kind of seeing, it seemed like, you know, the self-published authors or who just bought merchant tables were towards the front, closer to like the bookish merch, which was really nice. We came across some really interesting tables. One of them was a Liberian woman who created this really cute children's book about learning how to make a certain kind of bread from her grandmother, but her grandmother wasn't using any measuring cups. She was using things straight from her hand, so she had to learn to take things from her hand in order to measure things herself. It was so cute, and the recipe was included. We didn't actually end up buying that book. We ended up actually buying little bread itself, so I don't think I kept it. I think I left it at my mother-in-law's house, so I don't know what it tastes like, but what I do know is that Liberian cassava leaf, chef's kiss. Next, we found an authoress, Kama Pearl. She was just such a good time. I stopped by the first time, but my husband, I didn't really tell my husband the game plan before we went in. I kind of wanted to get the lay of the land before I started talking to vendors and authors, so that I have a tendency when I go to book festivals, let me know down in the comments if you're like this. I go to a book festival and then I spend all my money at the front and I never get to the back. So what I was trying to do was kind of get a lay of the land before I bought anything. And really great tip, but always let the people you know, the people you're with, know that. So I was kind of scoping it out and I wanted to do like another walkthrough. I'm glad I did that. So she wrote pretty much like erotic romance, and what I loved is that they were mostly like West African based. I really love that. My dad's from Ghana. If you know my name, it's Ama, Saturday born girl. So it was just really nice seeing that representation. As you went along, once you leave out of like the vendor's tent, they had like an author row, and in the author row, anything that you buy from those tables, you check out at a larger tent. So the line for that was like really long, but it wasn't horrible. I will say that it was not horrible. I am naturally a pretty patient person, so it, you know, being in a singular place for a extended amount of time doesn't really bother me. It was warm. You know what I mean? It wasn't hot. I wasn't sweating buckets, but it was warm. So that was just something to consider. But I did get a blind date from a book. She was on the vendor side, not actually on the author's row. And I had picked up a book that was part of a series, and she was selling me. Okay, girl, she was really selling me. I almost was like, okay, let me just do it. But one book was $25, but the blind date was $30. But I just felt like I was getting more bang with my buck for this, because, you know, you get a cute little highlighter, you get some bookmarks. All of them were just, all of them look super good, and like they kind of follow a, you know, cool kind of recipe. But I picked this because the tropes were slow burn, very artsy, reclaiming power, and he enjoys eating her. We'll open that together at the very end. Next author that I met other authors, but these were the two authors that stuck out to me the most. You know that I mostly read Black romance, Black fantasy, adventure, a little bit of horror, a little thriller, but I wasn't really finding a whole lot of that. There were some lovely authors out there, but like, I know what I like. You know what I mean? I know that that can be some kind of constricting, but even when I venture out, I know what I like. You know what I mean? Next author, her name was W.A. Simpson, and she was so adorable. Her book covers is literally what I was like, oh, it was a 4-part series, and she was like, if you buy all 4, you get this book free. And I was like, I'm cool with that, but let me buy the first 2. I'm not just gonna buy 1, I'm gonna buy the first 2 and, you know, see what's going on. So the first book is called Tinkerbox, and like, how gorgeous is that? Like, that is so gorgeous. And I'll just read the back. Among them is Isbeth, a witch skilled in her craft. Her return home leads first to sorrow, then fury, when she finds the old witch who raised her murdered, in her prized possession, the Tinkerbox stolen and used by a common man to seize the throne. Prince Bram is a prisoner of the usurper. His one desire is to free his homeland from the reign of the false king, but Isbeth and Bram must set aside their personal goals and work together. Dark Fae are bringing an ancient source of magic back to life. If they cannot halt the rise of old magic, it will tear the Riven Islands apart. Delicious. You know what I mean? So I wanted to grab this because, you know, I'm a witch. I'm a witchy girl. And the second one is called Tarotmancer, and this woman is a seer, gifted with the power of divination. Harper makes her living in a gambling den, reading her tarot cards and running errands. But when she saves a thieving shapeshifter known as Red, she becomes embroiled in a scheme to retrieve a mysterious mask. And when things go wrong, Red's quest leads them to the last place Harper wants to go: underneath. Ooh. Taken hostage, Harper must return with Red to the place of his birth, the Kingdom of Vale, where he's been wanted for his crimes for years, but that may be the last of their fears. Vale has been infected by the Rot, a hideous evil that feeds on hatred. If Harper can't control her powers and her emotions, the Rot will take her, and all of Vale with her. Oh, I'm locked in, but that's kind of how she sold it to me, that something called the Rot is starting to infect their world, and, you know, they're all interconnected. So I'm really excited about these. Overall, highly recommend. I loved the bookstore location that I went to. I believe I went last year. You can watch that vlog up above. I never know which way it's going to be, but you can watch that vlog. I'm going to go ahead and link it up here, but it was a really beautiful location. They've moved locations since, so I was kind of hoping that the event was going to be at the new location, but no worries, that'll give me another opportunity to visit. I don't know if I'm going to visit bookstores in this time of the library challenge, because I want to stick to, you know, book buying ban, no buying any books, you know, just visiting. I'll give myself like an amendment of, you know, I can buy bookish things at a bookstore. I don't know, girls, but essentially was the event wrapped up in a little bow. It was lovely. I don't know how much time we spent out there, probably an hour or so, but I really enjoyed myself. It was really, really lovely. By the end of it, I was a bit too warm, so I was like, okay, let's, you know, because I also was thinking I have to go back down this hill at the end, so I didn't want to go down the hill, you know, tired and overwhelmed or whatever, because it was a pretty substantial hill. Like, even parked towards like the edge of the hill, like, it was a pretty substantial hill, and there was like no path, no nothing. I don't know if there was another entrance, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if there was another way to walk around, but from what I viewed, it probably would have been even further to walk around and then go up, you know what I mean? So no idea, but overall it was so beautiful. It was a beautiful day in the park. It was lovely to be around other bookish people, and it was so lovely to meet so many new authors. So I'm now a fan of some new authors. I can't wait to read their books as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to open this package. This is warning: opening this package will cause extreme happiness. Love that. These are like her own bookmarks that she made. It says, "Please do not disturb. I'm reading Unforgivable, a sizzling slow burn romance." Love a slow burn, girl. I'm a slow burn girl. These tabs, book tabs. I love a good book tab because I'm an annotator, especially when I really, really love a book. I haven't actually annotated a romance book unless it's also like literary fiction, but that would be a great first. So love these little highlighters, little bookmark Oh, it looks like there's more stuff. Hold on. Oh, I love this bookmark. It looks like a little bookshelf. That's too cute. And then we have another one of these that's just kind of more author information. Sealed too. That's gorgeous. It's giving me Phantom of the Opera vibes. And let's see what I got. Wouldn't it be so funny if it was the book that I was reaching for? Oh, there's more little stickers. Hold on. I work to support my reading addiction. Man, read what nourishes your mind. And crying over fictional characters with a little girl that looks pretty much exactly like me. Okay. You first. What are we looking at? He's too young, too intense, too much like the life she's trying to outrun. Let me tell you why this is so funny. I was making her talk about her book on camera, and this was the book she was talking about. Isn't that so crazy? Ah! Okay, so excited. This is Implication. Essentially, she's older than him, and she's kind of like at the top of her game. She's a boss, and then they meet, and she likes him, but she's kind of like, you're too young for me. He's like, baby, I've got what you need. So I'm really excited. Ooh. Thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. If you loved it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up, so that I know this is the kind of content that you want to see. And if you're interested in my library reading challenge or learning a little bit more about it, make sure to go down to the description box. I'll have the rules linked there. Thank you guys again so much for watching. It's really been a hoot. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about the bookstore that ran the book festival, Huxley and Hiro, or Hiro and Huxley, make sure to check out that vlog from last year. It's a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.